Morning, discombobulated here. So I had a job interview yesterday after work, and it was the remodeling, construction carpentry job. And it's the guy I talked to on the phone, and we discussed the $23 an hour. So we were supposed to meet up on Monday originally, so I went ahead and drove my truck to work so I could meet with them after, and I didn't take the train. And every time I do that, it costs me the train's $6.50, so when I take the truck, it's like $20 to $25. So let's just say it's a $15 difference, So, and then he didn't get a hold of me on Monday, and so I was like, oh man. So I took my truck up here for nothing, and so that cost me $15. And then I was like, well, it's just as well. In that last video, I talked about the math and how it kind of didn't work out, and then on yesterday, I get a message Tuesday, I get a message like about 10 in the morning, and I had taken the train, and then he was like, do you still want to meet? And I was like, well, today I don't have my truck, so I couldn't meet with them. And so I arranged to meet with him yesterday after work, and he was like, okay. And then so I texted him after work, and he told me to meet him up here in Layton at a 7-Eleven. And I was kind of disappointed in that because it's been real hot, and it's been real sunny, and I have a bad eye, and whenever it's sunny, it just makes me squint really bad. And then I was like, well, what are we going to do? Like, sit in his truck and talk? Or, how's this going to play out? But I was like, well, whatever, And so anyways, I get up there to the 7-Eleven and pull in, and he's got I see like this big Chevy with a topper canopy on it, and I figure, well, that's probably got to be him. And I didn't want my truck to sit in the sun, so I just parked at a gas pump that was covered and kind of kept it in the shade. And then I walked over to his truck. He'd sent me a text that said I'm in a Chevy. And so then he rolled down the window, and he didn't shake my hand, but he greeted me, and he kind of seemed nice enough. He's an older guy, probably, let's say 63 or something like that, and white-haired, white beard. And then he just said, I kind of know about you and your experience. Is there anything you want to ask me? And so I asked him, I said, well, where do you do most of your work at? And then he was like, well, first, I promised you a drink, so let's go in and get you a drink. And I don't know. Even when I heard about him getting me a drink thing, I wasn't that into it because it just seems kind of silly, And I guess that was supposed to be my payment for going to the job interview or something. I don't know. So we both went in, and I just got myself an orange Gatorade, and that all went pretty good, I felt comfortable. Sometimes I know when I'm not comfortable with somebody just walking into a store. Like, there's been guys I go to Home Depot with them, and it just feels weird. Like, I wish I hadn't, I start thinking, I wish I wasn't in here right now or something, but it didn't feel like that. But then I was thinking maybe we'd go back out to his, truck and sit in the air conditioning and talk. But we just walked out of the 7-Eleven there, and then we were sort of talking as we went out the door, and he kind of drifted to one side of the door right by the entrance. And then he just kind of started talking to me there. So we just stood by the doors of the 7-Eleven and talked. And that kind of threw me off because then I was just standing in the sun, which made me squint real hard. And, I didn't even bother to explain to him I got a birth defect and all that stuff there. And so I just stood there squinting in the sun, and he didn't really ask me too much about me. He was just kind of telling me about stuff, like there's 7 paid holidays, and I don't know what all. And then, he did ask me about my tile project, but I don't know if it was because I was tired from work, or just hot and tired, or just spent from the day, but I felt like I couldn't describe what I was doing up there at my tile job. Like, I couldn't think of the name of a shower pan, so I said the basin. And And then once I said I was going to talk about the tile shower, but I said shower tile, and then I mean tile something, but I said something wrong 3 times before. I was like, I mean tile shower. So I had like this strange like stuttering mixed up brain damaged moment or something. I don't know. Maybe I was a little nervous too, you know. But in general, I guess I liked the guy okay. It seemed okay. And then he was like, well, I got to meet with another guy. He said he was a young guy and he was super eager. And he was like, well, sometimes eager's not that great. It's better to have a guy like you that's a little more mature, he said, but he kind of smiled at the same time. What he meant was old, you know, so I don't know. And so I guess he had to meet with the eager guy, but then he said he would give me a text later on tonight, which was yesterday, and I didn't get a text, so I guess that means I didn't get the job. But I feel kind of okay with it, you know. Like I said, I had kind of done the math, and so I kind of figured maybe the substitute teaching thing would be better than that. And then one thing about the substitute teaching I thought of is like, there's women there. Like I have a chance I could meet some older teacher or something, some gal, you know. So as opposed to working on a construction site where there's no women, it might be kind of fun to work at a school where there's a possibility of meeting somebody, you know. But I don't know. I just don't even know. It's been a weird day to day already. The ticket machine at the train wouldn't take any money, so I had to just get on the train without a ticket. And then the bus driver spotted me walk where I get off normally and get on the bus. I was like, well, I don't have my ticket, so I can't get on his bus unless I fork up some change. I was like, I'll just walk to work. And then I walked a little ways, and then the bus pulled up next to me because he recognized me, and he's a nice guy. He was like, hey, what are you doing? And I was like, I kind of told him about the ticket situation. He said, well, I'll give you a ride for today. And then I don't know. It's already just kind of shaping up to be a strange day, but well, that's all I got. Thanks for listening.